Back on the road again with Kenny Wingfield. Part 2 of his interview continues right now. Oh, hello, Roanoke. Welcome to T-Bone's Best of Roanoke show, where we go after the best people, places, and things to do in our fair city. Big thanks to our studio band and my special guest host, Mr. G. Woo! Now, on with the show.
Then you find yourself, you're a quarter of the way, you find yourself standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. In fact, we went through Winslow, Arizona, and they have a statue of Don Henley and a mural on the wall of a flatbed Ford. And so...
Slow down, take a look at me. Yeah.
Amen, amen. Yeah. So I was standing there with Don Henley, and we were looking at that flatbed Ford.
Oh, man.
So that's, you know, and riding on through Kansas, and, you know, very first place we went to in Kansas had a Wizard of Oz museum. And it was kind of corny, but hey, you're riding a bicycle across the United States. You go into stuff like that, you know, stop and see the biggest house of coal, stop and see the biggest ball of yarn, things like that, you know.
So you'd be like on the back roads or some of the main roads, but not interstate. It's
in one part in Southern California, we actually got on I-10 for a while, because if there are no access or parallel roads, granted you have to stay on the shoulder, but you can ride on the interstate in those parts of the country. Now, here around this part of the country, no way. I wouldn't want to.
Right.
Yeah, out in I-10 in the Southwest Desert, we could ride on the interstate.
But you could see things in the country on those back roads and just be a part of that slice of life.
You feel it. You breathe it.
You're in it.
You smell it. I mean, you're part of it. And on our international falls, I'm jumping a bit again, you know, kind of like you know, from, you know, time warp. But when we rode from International Falls to New Orleans, we were riding through a small Alabama town on a Sunday afternoon, and there was this big old oak tree. It got hot. It was a warm day, and there's probably about 15 black men sitting under that tree, and we stopped. And we had one of the best conversations and times of our trip. Just, you know, they were talking to us about riding bicycles down this country, and we were talking to them about, well, what's on ahead of us? What do we have to look forward to? And, you know, and by the time we left, you know, they're wishing us good luck and, you know, take care and all that. And it was just a great experience. But, you know, stuff like that you don't get to experience when you're flying down the interstate in a car.
No, that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Amen.
Those interactions like that.
Interactions with people everywhere across the country. I have some that I'm friends on Facebook with that I met riding cross country. A woman that the motel we stayed in, and I can't even think of the name. It was in Wisconsin, but she was the person that checked us in and started following us, and we're still friends on Facebook. And it's cool. People still remember you. People still, you know, how are you doing? And it's just great catching up.
Those relationships.
Like you okay with going long on this, because you know you got a lot to tell, and are you okay with us going past the initial?
If we go past it, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it, because you know you got to tell me to shut up sometimes, because I'll keep rolling. I'm like a broken record.
If it's okay with you, we'll just keep on going.
Hey, let's roll, bro. Like on that, going down the interstate, brother. Let's roll.
Rock on.
And the only time when somebody had a flat tire, that's when we stopped and had a party.
Yeah, right on.
And everybody
Wait a minute,
stopped.
Kenny. Wait a minute. No, you have flat tire. Let me see if I got this process right. You have a flat tire, and that's the signal to stop and have a party.
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
There are two or three people would be working on changing the flat.
Two or three people would have nails in their pocket, and so on and so forth.
Hey, let's take a break. Throw a few nails down.
Some tacks.
Now, when we did the RAGBRAI across Iowa, there were local folks that didn't like all the cyclists come through there, and they would throw tacks down.
Oh.
And people would be stopping and having to get change flats, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for a whole different reason, and that's just people being mean spirited. Right. But when we hit them on the going down cross country, those are accidents, but it gave us the opportunity to stop and just socialize and laugh. And when I had flat tires, they would just tell me to get out of the way because they knew my mechanical ability. And they'd fix my flat.
We'll take it, Kenny.
They'd fix my flat for me.
No. You go get the party started, Kenny. We'll go ahead and fix a tire for you.
Amen. Now, I've been out by myself and had to change my own flats, so I do know how to do it.
Right.
So maybe part of me would say, I'd rather party than fix the flats. Either way, we had fun.
Well, when you traveled cross country like that, how big was your pack, your group?
When we did L.A. to Boston, we started with 43 riders.
43.
And we finished with that. It's 35 or 36. A few folks.
Did those people in Iowa get the other ones?
No, they didn't. We didn't see those folks when actually we were in Kansas, and then Kansas, okay. Kansas was pretty friendly. We skipped Iowa.
All right.
But
they just wear out, or just
you hit something in the road, and just to get a flat, and those little skinny tires on those bicycles, we run 100 pounds of pressure in those tires, and that's a lot of pressure for a skinny little tire, and it doesn't take much for them to blow. If you hit even a curb wrong, you can pinch the tube and blow it.
And the people who fell out from that original 43, did they just? What happened there? They just had other obligations.
Four folks signed up for like half the tour.
Right.
And we had 3 folks that crashed out. One in the desert, like the second day. We had a rest stop, and there was sand, of course, in the desert. And they pulled off the hard surface, and when they did, their front tire stopped immediately. And they flew over the handlebars and broke their collarbone. In Kansas, there was a group riding together, and one of the faster groups, and there was some dogs, and they came out in the road, and the guy's front wheel touched the rear wheel of another bike, and he went down, and he broke his collarbone and had to step out. But that's generally what happened.
So you got a group of 35 or 40 bicyclists going across America, and then when you get thirsty, do y'all just pull up to a saloon and tie your bikes to a post?
Or they throw those nails down, son.
Well,
how's this all happen?
As I said, there was a group of the fast boys. And they always took off, and nobody could catch up with them. It was their goal and dream to be first to the hotel every day. Well, you miss so much doing that. And I was fortunate enough that I wasn't with the fast boys. I rode with them one day, and that's all I wanted in Ohio. And it about killed me to keep up with them, but I made myself do it one day.
So you have it pre-programmed out that, hey, we're going to spend the night at such and such hotel.
We rode with Crossroads Cycling Adventures. Tracy Liner was the owner of that at the time, okay. And she had the route mapped out every day. Right. She had hotels lined up every night. Had the restaurants where we would go to eat that night and stuff. And that's the one thing I love about riding. You ride to eat. You eat to ride.
Elaborate on that, Kenny.
One night, no, we were in Texas, the Panhandle of Texas that night. The only place in town that was really open was a Pizza Hut. They couldn't put the pizzas out fast enough for us. Oh, as soon as they brought out 2 or 3 pizzas, boom, they were gone. They were gone. People sitting up there just drooling, waiting for the next batch to come out.
So you ride to eat.
Ride to eat. And, of course, you eat to ride. You got to sound good about it. But I'm an eater. I'm a big guy, so it was fun.
It was fun.
You're a Harley rider, too? Is that right?
I do. I have a 3-wheel Harley that I ride. And
tell us about that.
It's not the same as riding a bicycle, but going up those hills sure is a lot easier. But no, I've got a 3-wheel Harley that I also ride now, and I've got both brakes set up here that I operate with my right hand, so I'm safe now. Earlier on, I used to feather the front brake and downshift for braking, and that's not a safe way to brake. In 2015, I was doing a cross-country motorcycle ride. on a rainy Friday afternoon in Durango, Colorado. I was looking for the Harley place, and I was on a road much like our own 581, except it had traffic lights. Well, I was going down the road, and I spotted the Harley place out of the corner of my eye, and I looked back in front of me, and there was a car stopped in front of me. Well, I cut to the open access lane and hit my brakes, my front brake, the best I could, and my left rear wheel well of my trike caught their right rear bumper, and my trike stopped like a dime. And I sailed through the windshield of my trike, hit the ground, and started tasting something a little bit salty, and I'm going, oh no, I just busted my face up on the ground. And I took my tongue and pushed against my teeth, and I said, no, my teeth are all there, that's good. And then I realized my sunglasses had broken and sliced the end of my nose, and that's what, well, went to the hospital, and my hip that had been replaced back in 2002 had popped out of socket. So they popped it back in socket, and they took some glue and glued the tip of my nose back on to spite my face. And less than 6 hours after flying over the handlebars of a motorcycle, I was leaving the hospital.
Wow.
And to have a wreck like that,
Yeah.
a lot of folks aren't as fortunate. In fact, you will see my book, All I Ever Wanted to Be, is dedicated to my mom. My mom passed in 2004. But as I tell folks, when I tell them that story about my motorcycle wreck, I say my mom was riding with me, and she got between me and the ground when I hit it, because there is no other way I can explain walking away from a wreck like that. I mean, my jacket wasn't, fortunately I had on my heavy leather jacket, it wasn't even scuffed up. I had a little bit of a scratch on one of my knees from hitting, in fact it was my left knee, from hitting the ground. But that's all I had, other than my nose and my hip popping out of socket. Now the trike was a different story. Right. It took me 9 months to get it back. It should have been totaled, but they, like Humpty Dumpty, they rebuilt that egg.
When was that?
That was in Durango, Colorado in 2015.
2015, so that was pretty recent.
Yeah, just 3 years ago.
Yeah, just 3 years ago. And when I did finally get my trike back, they put it together back in Durango. A great bunch out there, Slade Boyer within his bunch out there in Durango. Put it back together and shipped it back here to the Harley dealership here in Roanoke. And the first time I rode from the Harley dealership home, I was scared to death.
Oh, just
the first time I'd ridden
I
it.
bet.
yeah, feeling it. Yeah.
And I still had the old brakes on it. I hadn't put that new rear brake on the hand grip.
When was the last time you rode?
The Harley?
No,
Harley?
just period. When was the last time that you were doing something with a bike or with sports? Or
Probably like about a day before the 15-inch snowfall we had in December.
Okay. Got you. So you still,
I was riding my hand crank then, and also I took my Harley out one day just to get some spin the fluids through there and spin the bike a few miles, and I took it out one day, and you'll see my other toy I have in the garage when we leave.
Okay.
I took it out just this week to get inspected.
Got you.
You're looking at me a little puzzled there,
Yeah,
Tim.
that other toy.
Well,
what could
yeah,
that be? I'm
okay,
wondering.
we see-
That's
My old
mystery.
man retirement gift to myself.
What could that be?
So
Is it bigger than a breadbasket? I'd say so. Well, it's got 4 wheels,
4 wheels.
and it's called a Porsche 911 GT.
wow, that's kind of neat.
And I paid less for it than I did for the motorcycle, so don't think I'm a rich man. I just have good taste.
There you go.
But no, I can still drive it. It's an automatic. I've got enough play in my right toe because I operate the gas and my left foot works the brake, and I'm a safe driver.
And that would be fun to get out on a sunny day and just take it for a spin, I bet.
I did this past Tuesday when I took it to get inspected.
Wow. I'd say it'd probably be fun on a rainy day too.
Well, but as you see, I've got it covered in a garage,
Yeah,
so you can imagine I don't drive it in the rain.
Yeah, right.
In fact, I've only been caught in a light shower one time. I was leaving here, and by the time I got down the road here just a ways to Jake's garage, they do great work and great inspections, by the way.
Plug.
Bill looks after me. Everybody looks after me. I've got such great friends.
Oh, well, just hearing you talk, you've developed these relationships actually all across America.
Amen. And I could probably go just about anywhere in the country. I have a best friend that lives in Massachusetts, out there on the Cape, and we do trips every year. Last year we did a 6-day, 1,500-mile trip out around Ohio and across Kentucky and down through Tennessee and back, and then I rode home. And that was after I did my weekend MS 150 on my hand crank. I did the motorcycle trip the next weekend, so I'm always on the go.
What's next for you? And I don't mean for this to be naive. What's next? I mean, what's stopping you now from getting out and riding besides the freezing cold weather?
In fact, as long as there's no snow or ice on it, I get out there on the greenway and ride in weather. When it's cold, I've got the clothing to ride in weather like that. But I was scheduled to ride in my next marathon on the hand crank on March 2nd in Myrtle Beach. But that may have to be put off due to my recent illness that I've had. I was admitted to Lewis Gale Hospital on December the 11th. I went in with horrific back spasms, and I couldn't even put my feet on the ground. I had to call an ambulance to come get me, or the rescue squad up the street here. And coming up my driveway, they got stuck coming up my driveway and had to put chains on to get up the rest of the way up the hill to get me to the hospital. And one of the firefighters there, I gave him a copy of my book, and he read it, and he sent me an email a week ago, and apparently he's got some things going on in his life, and he said, "Thank you for your book." He says it's encouraged me and inspired me that you can have struggles and still keep going. So I don't know what he's got going in his life, but apparently he got it at the right time, and we were in the right place at the right time, and the book's doing what I intended for it to do. Folks with disabilities can read it and become inspired. Folks having other issues going on in their lives can say, "Gee, life's not so bad." And they can be inspired by it, and that's one of the reasons I wrote it.
And is that like your overriding message of the book?
Amen.
That whatever goes on in your life, you can still overcome.
You can still overcome.
What was the phrase, Tim? You brought it up.
Well, there was a phrase I heard in researching you, but it was for every setback Kenny's had, he's had a comeback.
Yeah.
Dan Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. When something bit Kenny bit back. That's what Dan said. And,
is your vision back in your eye? You said
yes, with the Solu-Med-Rol, it gets a little fuzzy when I get excited or nervous or angry. It'll get a little fuzzy, but and then I just calm down, chill out a bit, and yes, I wear glasses now, if that's what you say. I just don't have them on now.
Yeah. Well, no, you had mentioned that sometimes your vision comes, it would come back, it'd come and go, it'd come back.
That's one of the most common factors with MS is you have a loss of vision, and in most folks it does come back slowly and maybe not completely, but good enough where I can still ride my bicycle and not run into too many people.
Right.
Other symptoms of MS, though, the other major symptoms.
It can be a slurred speech. It can be a gait, the way you walk. It can be numbness and tingling throughout your body. I mean, my hands right now, like if your hand falls asleep and you start shaking it and it gets that tingly feeling in it, that's the way my hands feel 24/7. And I don't think about it unless I start talking about it, so thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Well, I'm going to switch subjects then. Well, what about for people who want to donate to MS research or donate to local MS organizations, where would you guide them and direct them?
For research, the Multiple Sclerosis Society.
Okay.
And I still do their MS 150s every year. To support that cause and to support that part of the research and that leg of our family. Here locally, with our Multiple Sclerosis Alliance of Virginia, my book I wrote as a fundraiser. The book's $14.95, and everything over $12.50 goes to the MSAV. And so far, I've been able to give them $3,000 from book sales.
That's great.
And with a book that's been out with a low budget book with self-published and self-distributed, to be able to give that much. And a lot of folks have given more than $15, obviously. And a lot of folks give, here's $20, give the rest of the cost. Cool. Yeah. And that's where it's gone. But it goes to the MSAV to help our local group, support our local group and folks living with MS. We have an office here in Roanoke, and we have started collecting equipment, wheelchairs, walkers, and other folks that might need to borrow, or even more if their symptoms are bad enough. But we've gotten, I don't have their number with me, or I'd give their phone number shamelessly. But the Multiple Sclerosis Alliance Virginia, look us up online. We've got a great new website that Beth Garst with Howling Dog Designs just put out for them. I got Beth hooked up with the MSAV, and she not only helped me, she's helped our group, and she just does wonderful work and is a great person to work with.
Well, you told us right at the beginning of the interview, but
yes,
as we wrap up, tell folks again where they can purchase your book.
You can purchase my book, number one, at Cardinal Bicycle on 460, right across from Jersey Lily. You can purchase it from Virginia Prosthetics on Williamson Road, kind of at the stoplight where the Tasty Freeze is at the far end of Williamson Road. Or you can purchase it if you're on Facebook. You can go out there and look up Kenny Wingfield and message me. I don't put any addresses online, and Lord knows what Facebook does with them when they get them. But I do not share them, I promise you, but I have been distributing a fair number of books through that method as well.
I think just talking to you, Kenny, there's a lot of hope for those with MS. You're a good example. I think Montel Williams, Terry Garr, both of those folks have MS. So there's
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I didn't know Richard Pryor had it.
Richard Pryor, toward the end there, I'm pretty sure he had MS.
But you can still...
Annette Funicello, one of the original Mouseketeers.
Yes, yeah.
But it affects everyone differently. I've been blessed in that my MS symptoms have not been that severe. I have had exacerbations that were minor setbacks in the whole scheme of things. But there are folks that have symptoms that are much greater due to their MS, and for that we've got the MS Society who's doing the research, who's out there finding cures. I mean, when I was first diagnosed, they only had like three drugs out there, and they were all injectables. Now they're coming out with some oral drugs that you can take. They're coming out with you can go in and do like a 3-day thing, and Ocrevus, I think, is one of the new medications they have out there. And we're getting ready to open up. Dr. Jill Kramer is getting ready to open up a MS center where you can go in and they will be doing the drug infusions there for those medications.
That's here in Roanoke?
It's not open yet, but it is coming.
Wow.
So keep your ear to the ground, and if you have MS, keep your hopes up and your ear to the ground, and just keep plugging and look out, find the MSAV, get in touch with us. We're a great bunch of folks. We don't sit around and feel sorry for each other. We're very uplifting and encouraging, and we like to support folks that keep going. I guess that's why they've been behind me so well. But it's a great bunch of folks.
Well, let's wrap it up. I'm gonna throw some nails down. Get this party started as we wrap it up.
Okay.
We're gonna maybe take a spin and
that's okay. We'll get over here and have a tire changing party.
That's right. We're gonna go check out your new gift in the garage. Is that right, Tim?
That is exactly right. And I want to warn people, if you're out on the parkway and you see a 62-year-old athlete come tooling down the road, hand cranking a 3-wheel bicycle, or if you're out on the road and you see a 3-wheeled Harley, or if you're on a sunny day you see a Porsche drive by real fast, it's probably Kenny.
Yeah, so, in 2016, I'm show you I'm not afraid of speeds. I did the bike tour of Colorado, 6 days, 359 miles through the Rockies, and my top speed going down from a 12,000-foot peak was 62 miles an hour. So I'm not afraid to go fast on that hand crank too.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
All right, well, it's been an inspiration meeting you, Kenny. I hope everybody goes out and gets your book, and there's just so much to learn from it, and so much to learn from talking to you and just sitting down here and absorbing your story.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, G. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Kenny.
You're
Nice
the man.
to meet you.
You're the man. I'm just kind of the guy you need to talk to today.
Wow.